Canberra for Cass Mortgage Minute. I couldn't help but think about this whole Rob Ford matter in Toronto and share my own thoughts with you on it. I know it's not mortgage related, but hey, you know what? I think it's an important topic and something we all need to at least discuss a little further. When Mr. Ford first got elected, he reminded me a lot of Ralph Klein and how he was the anti-politician, the anti-establishment fellow. And I knew right away from the beginning he was going to be in for a rocky ride because, let's face it, the media elite, the establishment elite, the bureaucracy just don't like guys like this because they're not politically correct. They don't fit into the profile of what they like to see as their politician, and they just break the mold. And people are comfortable with what they like to identify with. They just don't like people that are out of the ordinary and that speak their mind, that are outspoken, and that basically, like I said, don't conform to their image. And it was true. I mean, he's encountered rough waters all the way through. However, during all this time, he has accomplished some things in Toronto which his predecessors never were able to do. Even though those predecessors looked the part, they were perfect-looking politicians. The establishment elite loved them. The political left, the media left, they all loved these guys. However, they had left Toronto in a mess. And this guy, in spite of his problems, in spite of his challenges, has eliminated wasteful spending in City Hall. He's ensured there's been a budget surplus. He's got the city cranking and working like it should be and really working for the people. Now, having said all of that, has he done it perfectly well? Hell no. He's in a mess. I mean, right now with all of what's going on, with him finally admitting that he smoked crack and did all these other things, it's now starting to all pile on. And even those folks who initially loved him and supported him have all left him now. He's got a few hardcore supporters who are still standing behind him. However, that group is dwindling day by day. Now, is he the first politician that has encountered rough waters or done wrong things? No. If that were the case, there'd be nobody left. If we were only looking for saints in politics, there'd be no one left. And it's unfortunate that our bar is set so low with our politicians these days that we expect so little of them. We basically expect them to be politicians like in a banana republic. We know they're not going to be looking out for us. They're going to be looking out for themselves, and that's the expectations of the electorate. We know they're less than perfect. We know they're flawed, and this is what we expect of them, and that's unfortunate. And this bar has been eroding, and this decline has been on for some time. I mean, this is not the politicians of the old, of yesteryear, of the 20s or 30s. I mean, there's definitely people even way back that were still corrupt to some degree, that were self-serving to some degree, but there was a sense of nobility and care and a character involved. Now, I'm not saying Mr. Ford doesn't have it, because he has made some changes. His biggest flaw is his pride, his hubris. He just is not willing to admit when he's done wrong. And that just doesn't work in this day and age, especially in the political arena, because they will skewer you. Take it for, and again, if you come clean, and if you're one of the you're one of their golden children, they will favor you. I mean, nobody talks about Barack Obama admitting to having having done cocaine, which he did in his college years. He admitted to that, but they're not crucifying him on that. You have Justin Trudeau, another golden child that admits to having smoked pot, and last I checked, it's still not totally illegal in this country to do so and to be promoting that, but yet he's a role model for a lot of young people, and he admits that, and the media hasn't crucified him. You got Bill Clinton. I mean, let's face it, Monica Lewinsky and him and that whole scandal. Bill was, I have no love for Mr. Clinton because he is a consummate politician, and you know he'd sell his own mother down the river. But he was contrite. He came in a public appearance. He at first tried to deny it, then he finally listened to his handlers, and he realized, I mean, the easy way out was to admit you did wrong. Now, I'm not saying it was sincere, but he admitted he did wrong. He piled around the family, the friends, got those crocodile tears going, said it in his very southern way how he came across, and all of a sudden the people loved him. And that just doesn't work. And you look at politicians who deny it. Look at Richard Nixon and Watergate and everything. Those things don't work. Mr. Ford figured that he could basically bulldozer and bully through his way through this and not have to be held accountable. And unfortunately, it's to the same degree as everyone else. Again, this should not in any way tarnish his record of what he's done in Toronto. He's done an amazing job compared to his predecessor, who, again, his predecessors, the past few, who've always looked the part, played the part, said all the right things, and yet have done nothing for the city and only bankrupted it further. Now, What's Mr. Ford need to do now? He needs to gain some humility. He needs to be the man that he professes to be and say, you know what, I totally screwed up. I mean, that's it. And I mean, he can use his colorful language and say he effed up, whatever he wants. But the point is, he needs to step back from the situation and now, regroup and say, okay, you know what, it happened. Here's what I'm going to do about it. Here's what I'm prepared to do about it, and I'm going to move forward with this thing. And that would show a lot to folks. I mean, even in spite of all this, his ratings have gone up for the short term, but again, in the long term, there will be more stuff that people will be constantly digging up. Because again, everybody, and especially in politics, when you have power, people have an agenda. They're out to get you. The knives, the swords, they're all flying left, right, and center. And Mr. Ford, thought, hey, he was invincible to it, but no one is. Mr. Klein, he should learn from him. I mean, he went through the same sort of thing. Mr. Klein did a lot for Alberta. He did a lot for that province, certainly left it a lot better than when he found it. Yet he was imperfect. He was a flawed human being, and guess what? Our politicians will never be perfect. However, we still need to hold them to a higher standard because they should be somewhat role models. They should be good stewards. They should be leaders and exemplary people for our young people, so that they see somebody as beyond. It's a noble endeavor to be a politician. I mean, I don't think it has been for centuries now, but at one time it used to be. It was serving the good of the people. And you know what? I don't know, Mr. Ford, but obviously the changes he implemented, it's somewhere deep down, he obviously cares enough about his city and wanted to improve the lives of everyday Torontonians. And we'll see where it plays out from here. But I would say to Mr. Ford and those who are still supporting him, don't enable him. Be a man, Mr. Ford. Buck up. Say, hey, you know what? It's all wrong. I did wrong. And ask for the forgiveness that's out there, because there's a lot more good that you still have the chance to do. And again, if people don't forgive you, so what? But at least at the end of the day, you've stayed true to it. You've been the man that you profess to be, and you've lived up to the ideals that you came into that office with. Anyway, those are my musings on this. I just thought I'd share with you. Politics, I know in this country we don't like, two things we don't talk about is religion and politics, and maybe that's the problem, is that we don't talk about it enough, and we don't talk about it in a concrete fashion with some sincerity other than ridiculing either one. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you the next time. And again, if you need anything mortgage-wise, we're here for you at the Auxilium team. Auxilium simply means to care, aid, assist, and support. And that's exactly what we do here, day in and day out. And we look forward to assisting you.